Where y'all at? Because guess what? Y'all getting old and y'all hairlines are receding. And your
other things are receding and dropping.
Balls are dropping. And not from puberty. They're getting low. And then it's other things that be happening too. Y'all need Blue Chew is sponsoring a lot of y'all podcasts. Hello, and welcome to the Bold Black Girls podcast. I'm Aries.
And I'm Kim.
Hello, Kim.
What's up, Aries? How are you? We've been checking in, being vulnerable, sharing our true feelings.
I know. I've been going through. I feel, what did I say last week? Like I was in the fog. That probably was 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I feel different. I was like, oh, life is going to be different now. Like it's a different mindset. It's a different, just like I can't control my body like right now, you know?
And people don't realize it until you lose a parent, how different you become. You know, Michelle Obama talks about becoming, and you still continuously evolve because you see life differently, I think. Especially the relationship that we had with our fathers. It was unique culturally, you know, we're very close. And so the way we date, the way we view men is all predicated on our relationship that we had with our fathers.
That's facts. That's definitely facts. I mean, I'm not surprised based on what, like, you know, I think I talked about how, like, I said that, you know, before my dad passed, and I remember when he had a heart attack, like in 2007, and I was just praying hard on the way there, and I was like, Lord, I ain't ready.
Right.
Like, this ain't it. This can't be the time. This is 2007. And then I got to the hospital, and there was like people there because he had to have a surgery like that morning. So it was the same kind of situation, but I was like, he's having surgery in the morning. I just got on the plane, boom, boom. Like, I'm just like showing up. People are there. My mom was still living in California, so that lets you know. And I remember going back in the ICU after the surgery was over and seeing him in the bed. I just
looked up to those machines.
I had to get out. I left immediately. Like I broke down. And then I remember thinking, if something happened to my dad, like I'm gonna be done. Like I can't talk to nobody. Y'all gonna have to figure out how to get him whatever need to get done. Somebody else gonna have to figure it out because I can't do it. That's what I really thought was gonna happen, but that didn't happen. But I feel like the aftermath of it all, I'm slowly, you know, kind of going down. But I'm still functioning. So it's like this weird
space.
Yeah, because like the reality is harder now than it was the week of.
Exactly. And I told you, remember I said you were going to have to figure out someone asked me about you. And I was like, she's doing all right. You know, everyone grieves different. Some people prefer to stay busy. Some people prefer to sit in it. I think I'm a hybrid. I'm a hybrid
too.
I'm a hybrid. I'll sit in it, but then I'll get up and do different things. You know, like for instance, my dad's birthday is approaching. And so you have those moments, birthdays.
I think I need to just block my calendar for like all the holidays at this point going forward.
Yeah, and holidays are going to be different too. And I'll be honest with you, holidays have not been the same since my dad died. And I'm not as into it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like, we didn't have like all these big, great traditions, but it was just, I spent it with him.
And I kind of feel like one of the things that I'm actually getting out of this is creating some traditions with my
creating new, and that's actually what you have to end up doing is creating new traditions, because otherwise, like, The holidays, I'll lay in the bed and just be fine laying in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And there were days I had to push myself because my daughter was still young. Like, okay, it's Christmas. Get up.
It's like Thanksgiving. The last few years, I really haven't even been tripping, to be honest.
Right.
Before this. So, but this year I was like, the boys are going to be with me. They're usually not. So we're going to go to Houston where my cousins are.
Good.
On my
Be
mom's
around
side.
family.
Yeah. So I was like, that'll be good just to kind of, we'll be focused on other stuff, you know, hanging out with some other folks, some people we ain't seen in a long time.
And that's the moment
people
when
my
you
kids
need to
have
be
never
busy.
met. Yeah,
right.
exactly.
In those moments, that's when you do need to like make sure, not to say take it off your mind, but to redirect.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I think it's important too to just like, and I've been being pretty honest about how I feel when people ask me.
Day by day.
I just be like, sometimes I'll be going hour by hour. Like seriously. Instead of just like, I'm good. You know how you just be like, I'm good. I'm trying to be more self-aware to be like, how are you going to answer this right now? Because it depends on when you ask me.
Right.
You know?
And the decisions you make in life too. Like I started being more intentional about memories with my child because of that. Because I want, when we talk about leaving a legacy, I want to leave great memories as well.
And because it's something for you to pull back, recall back. Yeah. So now I think about, what if something happens to me? Now I'm doing like how my dad used to do, and I'll be like, Yanni, I got to give you all these lessons and tell you all these things and make sure, because if something happened to me, I want y'all to have all the information. So it's like you kind of start parenting out of that as well.
I agree.
So I did get back into, I heard somebody, that's my son's like iPad. Somebody's trying to call him.
Started doing yoga.
I went back to yoga. I found they don't call it Bikram no more.
Why?
Because he's a pervert or something. But anyway, they got a Netflix thing on it. I guess they don't call it Bikram. So I couldn't find it anywhere.
Hot yoga.
Except for the one place I used to go to, but that was like too far. So I was like, not convenient. So I found a place close by that they call it Hot 26. There's 26 postures.
Okay.
So I was super excited. I went there this week about 4 times this week because I was like, I want to be on some like
a routine.
And with that, you need, the more you practice it, the better you get, obviously. So it's more like watching your body change. From the first day to the 4th, I saw my body do different stuff. I was like, this is why I love this. This is why I love this. My muscles were sore. This isn't just like going there and child's
yoga's not easy.
This one have you doing all kind of stuff. So if you have never done it, give it a try. It's pretty cool. And it's more meditative. Like you have to be totally focused on, you have to disconnect from the outside world when you're in that class. It's 90 or 60, depending upon which one you go to, minutes of you don't have your phone. You can't have your phone in there. You can't be talking to people. You're not texting. You're not like, everybody's silent. You are listening to the instructor because they're not doing it for you to see them do it in this class. They're talking and you are listening to the directions, and you have to focus on yourself in the mirror in order to actually stay in your posture. Or you fall out of your posture. You got to get back in. It's like a whole thing. So I like it for that part of it too, with the meditative and the strength training and the stretching and all that at the same time. So we're getting back into it. So I'm gonna do again this week. I'm only here a couple days before we go to Black Men in Tech conference, but I'm gonna do it again this week. And then when I come back,
you'll get back on your regimen.
Get back on it.
Yeah, you were texting me. I was like, every time I was like, oh, what? She made it at 6 o'clock. Because people are like, oh my God, 6 o'clock is so early.
It is.
But you get it out the way early in the morning, and it helps you start your day.
That's true.
Gets to me, for me, my mind.
It does.
Your mind, it awakens your mind.
Yeah, and it's like you feel like you done so much by the time you're done and you get home. You're like, it's still early. I got time to get dressed.
Yeah,
and do my thing or whatever. Because I don't really start work till 9 o'clock anyway.
Really?
I mean, I'll respond to text messages sometimes. Let's say it's 8, but I try to make it a practice to not respond to emails until after 9, because I just want people to think that my time starts at 9.
Yes, I get it.
9 to 5. That's it. After that, don't call me. Don't expect a response.
I love it.
It's just training people.
So
what about you? What you been doing? How are you feeling?
Low energy.
Low energy too.
Need some vitamin D and other D's that come with it.
Well,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's fall. I'm ready to go back into hibernation mode. I want to be a hermit. We got I think we missed it. We talked about it last week about the state fair. I was like, that people in large events really don't excite me.
I mean, we about to go to a big old conference with
but it's Black men. So that excites me a little bit. So that's a difference. That's a difference.
I feel you on that.
Yeah. And then I'm kind of like want to be in hibernation hermit mode. Then I'm like, do I want to partake in cuffing season? So I'm having all these thoughts of like, what do I really want to do?
I don't know, y'all. I feel like
so, then I go to the good old faithful. God says, be still.
Cuffing season.
So I might need to just be still.
Sometimes it's best to just be still and let the Lord reveal. Yes. Come on, somebody. Be still and let the Lord reveal. That's where I'm at too. Cause I'm like, you know what? Cuffing season ain't looking that appealing neither.
It's not. So let's get into that. I love TikTok. That is like when I do have time to look at social media, I'm going to always go to TikTok. You're going to send me one. Kiara's going to send me one. Erica's going to send me one. I'm going to get TikToks. And I literally have to plan out my day like, okay, this is TikTok hour right here.
But see, and I be on Instagram and I'm like looking on there and every day there's a new couple saying they're getting divorced. And I was like, damn.
Hello. So we got Tia Mowry, which I was not expecting.
Tia and yeah. But I kind of feel like it's so funny because between all the social medias, I feel like everybody was talking about Black Twitter was on it. They were finding the clips from old stuff.
From the Black Love. I'm like, here they were on Black Love.
But that don't mean nothing. It's a bunch of them that's not together no more that was on there. But you start, which I feel like I kind of always felt it. Not that I had some, I knew they was going to break up. I didn't think they were going to break up. But he always kind of been stoic faced. Type of person. So you can't really read. I never just seen him on social or nothing like posting her and being all like, look at my wife. Never. I've never seen it. But yeah, they just said irreconcilable differences and that's what they all said.
Well, 14 years is a long time. Not that people can't stay together that long, but I do feel like perhaps we should leverage with driver's licenses where you renew.
That's what Latera said in his TED Talk.
Yeah.
He said every 7 years there should be a renewal period.
I could see that.
I didn't make it 7 on either one of mine. So.
Oh, man.
But maybe if I knew there was a renewal period, then I probably would have said, okay, let me just see. Knowing me, I wouldn't have. That's the part that scares me about relationships too, is that
what?
I get very strong when I'm done. I get very settled in that because I feel like I put a lot of effort into holding on. So if we made it 4-5 years, there were 2 of them years of us trying to figure out what the heck is going on, at least, right? Really being.
I've heard that before from people who've divorced. Like you were fighting for it before, the actual.
Yeah, divorce. It isn't like you wake up one day because I remember. I feel like both of them said that. Like she woke up one day and didn't want to be married. You sound stupid. There's no way I woke up nobody wakes up one day. You know what? I want to be single. Everything is going great in this relationship. I love him yesterday hard. He loves me. We're happy. Today, I think I'm going to get out here in these streets and see what the streets is talking about. No, you don't. That is not realistic, which is why it's kind of like, I think that's the shocker is that we'll be like, y'all were having issues and we didn't get to see. You're never going to see, y'all. Exactly. You're not about to see. And my first marriage in our community, because we weren't doing social media like that back then.
Praise God.
Thank God. But we were pretty popping where we were at. And
so people knew.
We were a very public couple. He was kind of he's a pastor somewhere right now doing his thing. He went viral like a month ago on something on social media. But anyway, and it just popped up. I'm like, but I don't be telling people that.
Yeah, you didn't send me that TikTok. You should have sent me that.
Nope. And so it was a big deal. So when we made it came out that we were gonna do divorce, it was so many people like, oh my God, no, we praying for y'all. Y'all got to get back together. No, you're gonna they were ready to. I got into arguments with people because they came at me no, y'all need to. I'm like, do you know anything about this marriage? You know nothing about this relationship. You don't know what's going on at the house. He could be slapping me upside my head every day. You have no idea. Which basically emotionally, we need to take serious. You not in these people's relationships. You don't know the type of abuse, mental, physical, emotional, all that.
Yeah.
And just because they look good don't mean that they need to be together. But anyway, some of these folks have been together since they were young. There's some that were together. Anthony Anderson and his wife.
I know.
20-something years.
But I'd
be like, are they waiting for the kids to get out of high school?
I wonder. And then it's like you're noticing during the pandemic, all of these divorces, people are looking at life different too.
They probably were already thinking about it.
Yeah. And now they're pulling the trigger.
Yeah. So for me, I know we were laughing at Amanda Seales. Oh no, that's I'm like, am I?
Well, it is fall.
No, I use Carrie lotion and it keeps me very much.
So I gotta go get a body scrub because I'm feeling a little
not to give them any
right.
Unless I want to sponsor. You sent me the TikTok from Amanda Seales.
And she said, in which I've said this in the past before, she basically was like, listen, if you're between the ages of 37 and 44, give it some time, get ready, get focused, because the men who have been divorced, they're going to get out there 6 months in, they're going to get a little kitty cat, and then they're going to realize that them streets is not for them and they want something more stable. And I have said that in the past, I would be number one.
I mean, not that they were they were probably not stable anyways.
Right. I said, let them go through therapy, let them heal, figure it out, right? Because I don't want you just right out of a divorce. Go through what you need to go through. Figure out your part in it and what you could have done different and what you will do different going forward. And then you'll be ready, right?
Yeah.
I will be a great second wife. I want to be a second wife.
You want to be a second wife?
Yeah, because I feel like you've been through the trenches.
I might need to be the third wife.
Third time the charm.
I don't know.
Third time's a charm.
Because I had 2 husbands, so I can't even talk.
Dang.
But I feel like I'm at my best self now. Because I got married really young.
Okay.
Right? I was like 22, I think, when I got married the first time.
That's Kiara's age.
Was married for don't know who you are. What on for just don't know your cooch from a hole in the wall. Don't know nothing about myself at all at this point. Get divorced at 26.
Mm-hmm.
No, 22, 23. Yes. Get remarried at 29 and divorced by 34, I think. Yeah. Okay. I was either I know it was 29 when I got married the second time. Divorced 34. Wow. So my 20s, half of my 30s, or a little part of my, the first part of my 30s, I was married the whole time.
Okay.
So it wasn't until that 30 mark with the kid. Now I got 2 kids by the second husband. And I was just like, okay, I don't even know what it's like to be outside.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've been
inside
2 relationships for 10 years, so it's like the streets were not looking like they looked before I went into these marriages at all. Like my husband's courted me. They took me on nice dates. And even when we didn't have a lot of money, flowers, like there was this effort, this energy,
intentionality,
everything was different, and now it's just a different world. And I just don't really vibe with what's going on right now. Like I just feel like, oh, I'm cool. Like
it's easy to be still.
You have to come with some old school vibes for me on the courtship part for me to be like, I like this person.
Yeah, I do like old school. And it kind of goes back to and I've said this again on the podcast before, like my dad did so much, like that's my expectation.
Yeah. And my dad, he wasn't like the romantic dude.
Right. It was like providing though.
But he'd be like, he would every Valentine's Day, whatever, he gonna send some flowers. Like it was on auto, and he would even send them to my mama. He'd be like, get up to your mom.
That's
like
so
he'll send it to
sweet.
my house. But she was like, I don't even like red roses like that, so tell him to quit. And guess what he did? I finally told him, because I used to not say anything. I'm like, you can tell. And this year, when he sent was it Mother's Day? I think he sent some Mother's Day flowers to the house for me, and then some for mom, and he sent her some purple ones this time.
Oh,
I said, look at him trying to learn in his old age. So she was happy about that. I was just like, but that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like, listen, pay attention to the things that are gonna, make that person smile, But yeah, I'm about to come in on the third.
You gonna come in on the third?
You need to go learn something and then come back ready and settled and ready to like.
Third time's a charm. Well, and TikTok gives us full of ideas and content, because this one lady, Myleik Teal,
I like Myleik.
I love her. I think she posted Tony Gaskins' video about how to know if a man is into you and all of this. Like, it's all these men want podcasts to tell us what we need to know.
I'm tired of it.
And she made a good point. Like, they need to be speaking to each other. Because she said, and she came with the facts. That's what I like. Data don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically said, according to Psychology Today, that statistics are saying that men are more lonely than ever.
I mean, you got to think about it. If the other podcasts, right? Because we know who over here listening to our podcast. But anyway, so if the other podcasts are telling all their subjects are about what we need to do, first of all, that means y'all over there, get from over there. First of all, let them talk to themselves.
Right.
And I've said this. I said this when Cam was on here and we were talking about like the Black Men in Tech conference and how women had their thing and how he was kind of like prefacing about like, well, we're not trying to take away from nobody else. And I'm like, y'all need to have your own conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're having ours.
We are.
We're having Black women's empowerment conferences. Yes. We're doing all these things. We're a Bold Black Girl and Black Girl Summit and Black Girl. I mean,
Black Girl Magic.
All the things. Sisters in Sales, Black Women Talk Tech, all the things. We're just creating our own spaces and being there for each other.
Right.
Men need that as well. Mm-hmm. And I started seeing a couple little events popping up,
too.
which I was like, yes,
continue.
Yes, they have one coming up next week, I think.
It's the same week. I think it's in Florida too.
No, I think it's in Maryland.
Okay.
But still, I'm like, but they need to be talking about
the
things together. And then we can come together for each other, Because if we're lonely and we all on the clearance rack and everything, I'm not saying that we are. This is what their podcast says.
Oh, okay.
We're lonely. We're on the clearance rack. Don't nobody want us. Okay. We got kids. We're over 35. All that kind of stuff. Where y'all at? Because guess what? Y'all getting old and y'all hairlines are receding. And your
other things are receding and dropping.
Balls are dropping, and not from puberty. They're getting low, and then it's other things that be happening too. Y'all need Blue Chew is sponsoring a lot of y'all podcasts. So that's all I'm saying is,
well, and according to statistics, they're saying that single women are happier and live longer.
And I think they'll be looking at like Diddy and all. Then they're like, oh, he got him a little young tenderoni on the side.
Bring it back to reality.
But you ain't Diddy either. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, so, I don't know. I feel like marriage is definitely under attack.
I do too. And I told you I was at a wedding this weekend and it made me reflect just the state of the Black love.
I know.
Is
that a real thing?
Yeah.
We need to see more. I know it's so popular to get the other sides of it because we're getting all these notices about the breakups. You don't see as many wedding announcements and stuff. You see engagements.
You see engagements, baby
but you don't see the
showers.
actual wedding posted as much. You know, we were laughing. Well, not laughing, but when we talked about like the Nia Long thing that's going on right now, she's been engaged for 10 years. Did you know that?
No.
I didn't know that either. I thought they were married.
They're not married?
They're engaged.
Oh.
They have a son.
Wow.
But
did not know that.
Again, clearly he was doing some other things. Maybe it's better. She can just bounce up out of there.
That is true. I'm glad I never got married.
But
quite honestly,
I mean, I don't like to. I feel like we gotta be in a healthy state to talk about marriage, the ones that work, the ones that last, because it feels like lately it's just been a lot of highlighting all the things that are not great and the drama and all that. But I guess you got to expect it when you're in a lifelong relationship with someone who's not like a family member too. Mm-hmm. Right? Like this is a person, just like friendships and stuff that rotate out in and out of your life and some stay.
Right.
And you're trying to find that person who's going to be the stick
that's going to stick to it beside you.
Right. Which is why I do think the friendship part is super important. Like
when it comes to like with being with someone. Yes. I do too. I really want my husband to be my friend first.
Like for real.
I'm for real too. I'm really for real.
Cause you know how people be saying that?
Like, oh, he's my
friend.
My
friend. He's my friend. He's my best friend. You only known this man for 6 months. How you know he your friend? You ain't done nothing. You ain't been through nothing. I don't know. I feel like you got to go through some things with people. See how they are in different scenarios and different seasons. Oh. When they're depressed, when they're sad, when somebody in their family passes away. Mm-hmm. All these things matter. So Love on Stage, the show I was on, mm-hmm. they just did season 2. And there were 2 couples where they both had one person from each couple had someone that died close to them during the filming of the show. Mm. So one of the girls, Chandra, her best friend died, I think. And I think her dad passed like not that, like right before. The day that her dad passed, I think, or the day of the funeral was the day she found out she was going to be on the show. So it was like from that point. Wow. And then her best friend or someone really close to her passed during the filming and they had to like make some adjustments. And her date and her were not necessarily a match, but he was such a good sport, like throughout the whole thing, just kind of being there and all that. And they knew that they weren't really going to be, they weren't a match based on other things, but he was super cool. And then there's another couple where the guy's best friend passed away. Mm. And he kind of was saying how he retreats when he's going through things. Yeah. And the girl was like, no, take your time, whatever. But then start changing because he did pull away a little bit. And it affected their dating from that point forward because she was mad that he was pulling away, feeling like, well, I'm here for you. I'm letting you know I'm here for you. But everybody grieves different, Yes. I think later she apologized, like at the end. But still, it was like it shifted the whole dynamic because it's like, well, you don't even know how to be there for me. And I can tell you, my first husband, I had both of my grandparents passed during the time we were married. I had both my grandmothers. The first one, he failed. Like that, he totally failed that whole moment.
Support.
And then the second one was like the straw that broke the camel's back of what was the catalyst to being for real about the divorce we have been going through. But when that happened, I was like, I can't be with anybody like you are a selfish person. Like you do not care about me. And I just was like, I'm done. So it was just kind of like that final, like, you know what? See, you had another opportunity to make up for that first one. You know what I'm saying? So it's like how people are in crisis and all that kind of stuff. Like you need to see.
You really do.
When they get mad, when y'all somewhere and somebody how do they act? Like these are important things to look at.
And just like, people grieve, the person that's grieving, you have to be patient with people. Mm-hmm. That's all you want to see how they handle that. Like, can you be patient? Are you understanding?
Yeah.
Can you be empathetic? Because that's another component of it.
Yeah. That's why I feel like if we can we all need to commit. We need to do a thing where we like, like a therapy challenge.
Therapy challenge, and maybe instead of like, I don't know, dating shows, we'll do a friendship show with like,
But this is
with
the tricky
males.
part though. Is like when you like them.
Yeah.
That's the hardest. I feel like if you come from the back end, so let's say y'all accidentally became friends. I don't know. It's like it's kind of hard to create that without y'all going in and being like, look, we're going to intentionally focus on us just seeing if we are compatible and getting to know each other. Take sex off the table. Because that's the biggest part.
The biggest.
If you have sex, forget it. Friendship's over. We in a relationship. As soon as you have sex, not saying the friendship is over. If you have not established a friendship before that, it is not. It's just, you're not going to have a good evaluation. I would say, like with me and the boys' dad, we were friends. But the thing about it was, he was liking me.
Did he tell you?
Not early on.
Okay.
But he was holding back information because he liked me. So that made our friendship kind of not true friendship if you're not telling me
the truth
about pretty important things that were going to be necessary once we got in a relationship. It was a big one. Because he knew I did not want to be with nobody who had kids. But so that was a whole thing about that. But anyway, so there's some way, that's why I said it's kind of hard. Like once you already are like in it. So you got to be careful on that, I would say. That's just my little, 2 times married advice.
Well, you got experience under your belt.
All right. So but anyway.
It's going to be 3rd time's a charm. Kim is looking for a second, a great second wife.
You want to be the second great?
I do.
A second wife.
Which kind of goes into our next and last topic. So we are readers.
Yes.
We got our fall read, unbeknownst to us.
I know.
I ordered it because I just love Darius.
I like Dr. Darius Daniels as well.
Yes, I listen to his Bible studies and his.
We're virtual members of Change Church.
We are.
Even though we have our own church home.
Exactly. So I ordered the book, and you just said today, hey, I ordered the book. I'm like, it's sitting on my bookcase.
I got it. I started reading it last night, and I fell asleep because I went and got a massage. I forgot to say that. I went and got a body wrap. It was the first time I ever had a body wrap.
Oh, how was that?
Good. It was just, I thought it was.
You feel firm?
I guess. I don't know. I just didn't really. I don't get the big deal about it, but it was fun. It was relaxing.
And you needed that.
So when I got home and then I went by the hospital to go visit my mom, she had back surgery. And then I came home and I was like, let me start reading my book. I'm gonna just chill, And then I started reading and I was like, I saw myself rereading the page over again. You know how you gotta reread?
That's over 40.
After that 3rd reread, you're like, okay, you know what?
That's a done deal.
Let me go and just
That's a done deal.
So yeah, I'm excited. And it's called
Live Your Purpose? Life on Purpose? Hold on.
What's it called?
I'm about to pull it up.
It's like How to Find Your Purpose or something like that.
Yes.
Your purpose is calling.
Okay. And the reason I liked his books anyway.
Yeah, Your Purpose is calling.
Relational Intelligence, which I feel like I need to reread.
That was a great book. If you haven't read Relational, I just recommended that to somebody.
Like literally with everything going on, we need to revisit that. So Your Purpose is calling. So that's what we're going to be reading in, I guess. What, as I turn 40, I'm like, yeah, like I feel like I'm still discovering like what is my purpose.
And I feel like I know, but I want to be more clear, definitive on being able to articulate it. Right.
Same.
And so this is
operate in it.
How God talks to me is through other vessels, and where I can really hear. I'm like, oh, you talking to me? I know that's you. Why this person is saying this is because of me, and that happened to me today because I listen to TD Jakes too. Like it was all these things. It's a theme typically that'll come my way. Well, before you came, now I got the book already. I sent it. I was gonna send it to you. I sent it to one of my other friends too, and then I listened to Debbie Brown.
Girl, why am I about to listen to her?
And she has a meditation
for the fall
for discovering your purpose Now go look at that. What was that episode? Whatever that latest episode is, it's about your purpose. So that would be a good one for y'all to add as you are wanting to get in a mindset of like discovering what your purpose is. And she said there are 2 questions you need to ask. And one is you need to ask God, what have you called me to become? And that's like something you need to really sit. And she said, just get a blank piece of paper and just bullet point whatever comes to you. And then the other one is, what is the deepest truth of who I am?
Ooh.
Like you gotta be silent and
you gotta be still
to get this stuff.
To hear.
What have you called me to become?
This is crazy.
And what is the deepest truth of who I am? Because we be lying to us.
We do. We do.
Which is why relationships don't be working, because you don't even know who you are. You don't know what you called to be, what your purpose is. You get with somebody who don't know that either. And y'all just lost as hell, going nowhere or going down. Instead of saying, wow, you know, you're aware, you have a vision about who you're supposed to be, who your purpose is, all this stuff, what your purpose is. I have that as well. This is what mine is. And if they actually align, in addition to the fact that we're attracted to each other and there's other connections, that we could really be a great partnership.
Which she just posted something and I retweeted it because, okay, I have a crush on Debbie Brown, not like that, but I like all Debbie. Of her content. Yeah. You know, we share the same birthday. So I do feel like we are in alignment.
Yeah.
She basically put on here, and it was about relationships since we were talking about it, because I think her and Malik did something in New York. I wanted to go to it. It was her. And
she talked about it on that episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
like a retreat.
Yes, and I wanted to go to it, but I knew I had already committed to something. So she says, I'm only available to friendships rooted in emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and ease. I was like, that's a word.
I'm only available to friendships rooted in emotional intelligence,
self-awareness,
and ease.
So, and it's not to say, you know, you won't be faced with where you go through something as friends.
Yeah.
But
the roots.
Yes.
Which says, you know what? I hear what you're saying, friend.
Yes.
I hear you and I get why you feel the way you feel. I really do. Like, here's my thoughts. I hear you though. And I'm struggling with it, but I will work on being better for the growth of our relationship. Right. That's emotional intelligence. That don't mean that we agree on everything.
And we don't have to. Exactly.
It just says, I'm hearing you.
I hear you. I see you. And I'm seeking to understand it.
Yeah. I may not have it all yet.
Yeah.
But give me a little, let me digest it and sit with it a little bit. And then we can come back and talk another time. Yeah. If it's something that you feel like you need to come to an agreement on to move forward. But some stuff just be like, no, is it worth it? Like, and then I may never agree with you. And that's okay. To say that's okay that you don't agree with me is emotional intelligence. To be self-aware is to say, I'm never going to agree with what this girl is saying. But I love her and I want her to know that I care about you and I do love you. Right. We just don't see eye to eye on this thing. And that's okay. Hopefully it's okay with you. Yeah, let's just keep going. That's growth. That's self-awareness. That's emotional intelligence. And it makes things easier.
Yes. No one wants to be in a complicated, complex. Like we already deal with that. Is
right. And we're not gonna be perfect.
And you get to choose.
If you know what your purpose is, then you can start saying, I am not walking in alignment where I know I need to be. Let me get back together so that I can be back in tune with where I know I'm going. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for these little stupid things, right. Or whatever. So anywho, that would be the call to action, I would say. We ain't done a call to action in a while.
I know we haven't. And we're
take that note.
What, less than 90 days away from the new year.
I know.
I thought about that because I saw her podcast. Usually I listen to it either right before work or when I'm on the Stairmaster in the morning or between workouts. And I was like, I need to listen to that because that purpose is like, what is it? And people will tell you like, oh, this is what you should be doing. But I can't listen. And sometimes, yes, God uses other people as a vessel, but I also want to hear from him.
No, and you can definitely, I feel like he will give us clarity if we ask for it. So, that could be your call to action, is ask God, what have you called me to become? And listen. Don't run off. I think that's what Darius was talking about this morning. It's like, we be praying and then you be like, okay, bye. You just don't actually give him time to respond. And sometimes we need to sit still so we can hear that. And also, what is the deepest truth of who I am? That's a hard one. And if he answers you clearly, you might not feel good about who you are today. But if he tells you about who you've been called to become, now you can know where you're going and actually give you motivation and inspiration to be like, okay, this is my gap analysis.
That part.
What do I need to be doing for my part of the purpose plan? So hopefully y'all do that. If you do, why don't y'all hit us up and let us know how it's going. If you heard something that you want to share, post it on our Insta or on our YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate us and write a nice review. Rate us only if you're going to rate us a 5. Anything else? We're on our way to Black Men in Tech. By the time y'all hear this, we will be at the conference and we'll let y'all know how that go too, baby. And it was something else. Oh, been getting hit up by people who are talking about how can I get into tech? How can I get into tech? From Kim's TikTok people who over here are looking at Black Girl Luxury and they be asking them, sis, what do y'all do? What do y'all do for a living? And a lot of people keep saying tech. And they're like, but how? But what? All that stuff. So the next couple episodes, you will start hearing more talk about just different forms of tech. We just start interviewing people. I think this one coming up next week will be the metaverse. We'll be talking about Web3 and the metaverse and all that kind of stuff, just to give you some awareness of what's out there and ways that people got into it and what other technology is there, because it's so much. You can do pretty much anything that you're doing right now in tech. And Cam talked about that last time. So hopefully the theme will help y'all. We'll post anything else that we see and let us know if there's certain topics that you really, really need so that we can find somebody to come on and educate us on it, because it's all about us learning as well. We're trying to learn what's going on.
Right.
And
exactly.
stuff.
And that's how you find out. You do the work.
And
find the people.
Do the work, because Kim be getting people asking her all the time and they don't do nothing.
Just gotta do the work.
Be like, do what I tell you to do. So anyway, and congratulations to Kiara, Kim's daughter, who got her certification in Microsoft Azure through APW.
Yes.
So that's cool. All right, y'all. Y'all have a bold week, and we will see y'all next.
Peace.